When I was 16, I didn't have the luxury of enjoying a typical teenage life. While most of my friends were out hanging out, playing sports, and focusing on their schoolwork, I had a different mission, one that weighed heavily on my shoulders and pushed me to grow up faster than I ever anticipated. I had to work. My family wasn't well off. We didn't have much, and my parents were doing their best to keep things together. But the truth was, there was only so much they could do, and I could see it in their faces every day. The financial struggles, the stress over bills, the pressure to make ends meet, it all fell on them. And as the oldest sibling, it felt like it was my responsibility to help. I wasn't ready for the weight, but it was the reality I had to face. I remember the day I made the decision to get a job. I was sitting at the kitchen table, looking at my younger siblings, wondering how we were going to make it. They had dreams, big ones. My little brother wanted to be a doctor. My sister dreamed of becoming a lawyer, and I just wanted to help make that possible. I didn't want to see them give up on their goals just because we didn't have the money for school supplies or tuition fees. I looked at my mom, who was already juggling multiple jobs, and saw the exhaustion in her eyes. My dad worked long hours too, but it was never enough. We were barely scraping by, and I knew that if I didn't step up, their dreams might remain just that, dreams. So I decided to do what I had to do. At 16, I went out and found a job. It wasn't glamorous work. I started at a local fast food place, flipping burgers and cleaning tables. The hours were long and the work was physically demanding, but I didn't mind. I was used to hard work. My parents worked hard every day, and I wanted to show them I could do the same. And it wasn't just about the money. It was about something deeper. It was about being there for my family, being the one who stepped in when no one else could. Every day after school, I would rush to work. I'd be there until late in the evening, sometimes past midnight, and then I'd get up early to do it all over again. The only breaks I had were between shifts, when I could barely catch my breath before I was off to the next thing. I barely had time for friends, for hobbies, or for the things most 16-year-olds get to enjoy. My life became a cycle of work, school, and more work. But I didn't care. I couldn't care. My family needed me, and that was all that mattered. As I worked, things started to change. The paychecks weren't huge, but they helped. They allowed us to pay some bills, buy groceries, and most importantly, put my siblings through school. Slowly but surely, I began to see the impact I was having. My brother was still dreaming of becoming a doctor, and my sister was doing well in her studies. Her dream of becoming a lawyer seemed possible. I was giving them a chance, giving them a future. But somewhere along the way, something changed. In them. I didn't notice it at first. I was too busy with my job, too focused on making sure I was doing everything I could for my family. But as time passed, I began to notice that my siblings weren't as grateful as they used to be. At first it was little comments, little jabs about how I was always working, how I never had time for them, or how I was too serious all the time. I tried to brush it off. I told myself they were just being kids, and they didn't understand how hard things were. But then it escalated. One day my little brother, who had always been my biggest supporter, called me stupid. He said I was wasting my life working at a fast food joint, that I should be focusing on my own education, and that I was too old to be doing something so low. It hit me like a slap in the face. This was the kid I had worked so hard for, the one I sacrificed so much for, and he was calling me stupid. I tried to shake it off, but it kept eating at me. Every time I saw him, every time I heard those words, I felt like I was being torn apart. And it wasn't just him. My sister, who I had helped through high school, had started to say similar things. She told me I should have gone to college and gotten a real job. She said I was wasting my time and that I wasn't going to get anywhere with my life if I kept working in a dead-end job. It stung. At first, I told myself it was just teenage rebellion. They were angry because they didn't understand the sacrifices I was making for them. But as the days went by, I realized it wasn't just rebellion. It was something deeper. They didn't appreciate what I had done for them. They didn't see the late nights, the exhaustion, the way I pushed myself to the brink, just to give them a better chance at life. They didn't understand the weight of the decisions I had made, and they didn't care. It was like everything I had worked for, everything I had sacrificed didn't matter to them. They weren't grateful, they were angry. Angry at me for not being around more, angry at me for not being the perfect older sibling they wanted me to be. And that's when it hit me. I had spent years of my life trying to make things better for them, sacrificing my own happiness for their future. But what if that wasn't enough? What if my sacrifice wasn't even seen as a sacrifice? What if, in the end, they just thought I was stupid for doing it all? I had to make a decision. I couldn't keep going like this. I couldn't keep giving and giving, only to be called stupid for my efforts. It hurt too much, and I realized something important. I didn't need to carry the weight of the world on my shoulders anymore. I had done my part. I had worked hard. I had supported them, and I had done everything I could. But I couldn't keep doing it at the expense of my own happiness. So I made the hardest decision of my life. I stopped. I stopped working the extra shifts, stopped pushing myself to the limit, stopped putting my own life on hold for them. I told them, in no uncertain terms, that I couldn't keep supporting them like I had. If they wanted to continue their education, they were going to have to figure it out themselves. If they wanted to succeed, they were going to have to work for it. It wasn't an easy conversation. It was emotional, it was painful, but it was necessary. And you know what? They were furious. They didn't understand. They called me selfish. They told me I was throwing everything away, and they accused me of abandoning them. But deep down, I knew I had made the right choice. I had given everything I had, and it wasn't being appreciated. So it was time for them to take responsibility for their own futures. Since that day, things have been different. My siblings and I have grown apart. They're still pursuing their dreams, and I hope they succeed. But I'm not there to carry them anymore. I've learned that sometimes people can't see the sacrifices you make for them. Sometimes you have to step back and let them figure things out on their own. And it's okay. It's okay to take care of yourself. It's okay to stop carrying the weight of the world when no one else appreciates it. You don't have to sacrifice your own happiness for others, especially when they don't even see what you've done for them. So if you're out there struggling to balance your responsibilities and your own well-being, remember this: you don't have to do it all. You don't have to be the one who carries the weight. It's okay to let go, to take a step back, and to put yourself first. I did it and I don't regret it. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories.